Hi guys, it's Arsh Ellahi, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the UK property market and what's actually going on in it and the effects of everything that's happening as a result of COVID-19. Now, first of all, I want to say thank you to all the brand new subscribers that we've got to the channel. Hopefully you're enjoying the sessions and hopefully you're enjoying the videos that we're doing. For those that have literally just joined me, why don't you press subscribe by literally pressing that, the subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way, every time I upload a video, you'll get a quick notification saying that it's there. Now, just that you know, if I do scroll down to or if I do look down, just means that I've got some notes because there's lots of things that's happening in the property market right now, and there's far too much to remember all in one go. So let's have a look at what's going on. So there's been lots of news come out say that this is going to be the worst crash that's happened within the last 11 years. So they're comparing this to being even worse than the 2008 crash. There's mortgage companies pulling out of the market. So we've got Shawbrook, we've got Aldermore that have all said that they're retracting their 75% loan to value HMO products. And the reason why they're doing that, very simply, is, let's just give you an example. If previously someone was buying a property for £100,000, now the mortgage company would have previously been lending you around 75% of that, would have been around 75,000. Now they're worried that if you buy it today, and if all the news is correct and all the projections and the forecasts are correct, over the next few months, we're expecting to see a circa 20% dip in property values. Therefore, that property that was worth £100,000 now is only worth £80,000. If they've lent you £75,000 for that purchase, they're going to be pretty much approximately 100% geared, you know, give or take a few £1,000s. The first person that's going to take the hit is you, the purchaser. Your deposit would have diminished. Now, the one thing I will say, it's not all doom and gloom. Now, if you're investing and you're buying a property which is an investment, you've got to be looking at it from a point of view is that you're hopefully going to be investing for the next 10, 15, 20, 25 years. In most mortgage terms, around 25 years. There will be times where the market fluctuates. It will go up, it will come down, up and down again. And that's what happens in property. You know, I've been involved in property 19 years. I've seen lots of recessions. I've seen lots of ups and downs. But the key is how you finance. So I'll do a separate video on how you finance deals, etc. So what is going to create this dip and how can we do, what do we need to do, or what do we need to be aware of? First of all, it was reported that in April, it's been the lowest ever month for mortgage approvals. And then going back to my comment a couple of minutes ago about why. Mortgage companies are saying, you know what, we'd love to lend you, but now's not the right time. So they're literally putting out pretty much little mini flags to say, guys, okay, hold on. More importantly, as a result of COVID-19, the government said to all estate agencies 2 months ago and said, guys, you're not an essential business. So therefore, you have to close your doors. Estate agents had no option. They had to close their business. They're not an essential business. Therefore, they could not conduct viewings. Therefore, they could not accept any offers. As a result of that, the offers that they received prior to going into lockdown, all the purchasers were now looking at it and thinking, well, okay, I offered £100,000 now, but with all the news coming out, should I pull out? Should I back out? Or should I retract my offer and go in with a lower offer? I've seen lots of people going in or contacting me and say, Arsh, I offered £100,000 before. What should I go in for now? Now, my advice to you is that if you're buying a property, you've got nothing to lose right now. The reason why I say that is that if you go in and say, guys, okay, I previously offered 100,000 with everything that's going on, I either want to back out, or my second option is that I come to you with a revised offer. And the revised offer is circa £80,000. Now, let's look at this from another point of view. If you're the homeowner, you've got two options now. You've either got to realise that this is happening, and this is happening in the world right now, or you've got to dig your head in sand and say, you know what, my property is still worth 100 grand and I'm going to sit it out. If you're going to sit it out, you're going to have to sit it out for at least a year or two. If you're prepared to sell, you're going to have to look at a reduction in price. Now, if a vendor comes or if a purchaser comes to you and says, well, I was buying it at 100,000, but now my offer is circa 80 grand, you're going to have to, from the purchaser's point of view, they're in a win-win situation. If they accept the £80,000, then yes, you've got a deal. If they say no, £100,000, that's the purchase price, you as a purchaser now can say either yes or no, I'm walking away, or I'll take the risk. Problem is that if you accept the £100,000, chances are that you may not get lending on it, or when the valuer goes out to it, it may get downvalued. So this is also causing an issue for estate agents. Now, previously, they would have been getting, let's say, 2% plus VAT on the £100,000 offer, which is £2,000 plus VAT, which is £2,400. Now, if they accept the £80,000 offer, they're going to be getting 2% of that, which is, let's just say £1,600 plus VAT. So they're taking a reduction in their fee. The purchaser is potentially getting a great deal. The seller is having to take a reduction in their price. It's been reported again that month on month, and this is all reports from the BBC, the ITV, and also the Guardian, and lots of well-known economists who've reported that over the last month, it has property prices have been dropping by an average of £4,000, and they're expecting a drop of around 20% over the next few months. Again, they're expecting it to be the biggest drop that they would have seen in the last 11 years. So taking us back to the point of where we were in 2007 and 2008. We're expecting another drop of 1.7% in May 2020. And apologies if I'm looking down, I'm just having to refer to my notes because I said there's a lot to cover here. Now, what this all comes down to as well is also down to the government. What's going to happen? A lot of us have been surviving on furlough payments. A lot of us, the government has come out and said to businesses, don't get rid of don't get rid of your staff. We'll work through this. We'll help pay by giving you furlough payments and keep them employed, and let's get the economy moving. Now, that happened for the first 3 months. Now they've extended it for a further 3 months. This is great. From an employer's point of view, it's great because potentially there is a mechanism to survive. There's also other things that's been going on, the BBL, the bounce back loans, there's lots of schemes going out, so grants available to employers to keep their business alive. My concern is that if a business was previously failing prior to COVID, that the chances are that they're going to turn around and say, guys, okay, thanks for all this help. Yeah, I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it, I'm going to take it. And they're going to go bust, regardless of what happens after COVID. So all they've done is taken a load of free money and then they're going to disappear. Now, that's me being a little bit sceptical, and I apologise for that. Now, the other side is that from an employee's point of view, that at the moment they've got a bit of comfort knowing that the furlough payments are coming through and that the employers are paying them a percentage of what they were previously getting. What happens when the government decides to turn around and say, guys, okay, furlough payments are now stopping? It's up to you guys as employers. Now, if that business is not going to be as functional as before, what's going to happen to all those employees? They're going to say, well, we try to help you as much as we can by keeping you on furlough, but unfortunately, now that we're paying for it, unfortunately, we can't afford to keep you. The business is no longer sustainable, and therefore, we're going to let you go. We've seen that massive increases in applications for universal credit. It's been the highest it's ever been. So unemployment is reaching its highest point, which means that if we're unemployed, how are we going to afford to get a mortgage? Because let's face it, the mortgage company is not going to take on a person who is now on some receipt of benefits, because they're going to be asking the question of their affordability levels. Hopefully you're sticking with me here. So if you're unemployed, chances are you're not going to get a mortgage. If you can't get a mortgage, you're not going to buy a property. And if the properties are not selling, naturally they're going to keep reducing in value. So these are things that you have to take into consideration. Also, other things that are affecting COVID as well is that there's approximately 2 million people that applied for mortgage holidays. That's in actual fact 1 in 6 of every landlord or every investment property applied for a mortgage holiday. These are all red flags. Naturally, we are going to fall into recession. There is no doubt about that. It's about how we protect ourselves now. And we've got the protection of the bounce back loans, where they've given us 12-month interest-free loan, and then it goes on to approximately 2% for the next 5 years. That's great. That's short term. That's going to help us out short term and over hopefully the next 6 to 12 months. Then we've got all the government grants. But what happens? The biggest thing is what's going to happen when furlough stops, when the furlough payments are stopped. Are the employees going to still keep these people on? If they're going to keep them on, great, because then potentially we can start to get ourselves out of recession. What happens to all the employees that say, guys, okay, we can't afford to keep you anymore? And we're seeing companies literally left, right and centre having to give people their redundancy notices or saying, guys, okay, we're going to have to let staff go. We're seeing it in the news that lots of companies are saying tens of thousands of people that are now becoming unemployed. These are all now people that have become reliant on the state for universal credit. This is all money coming from the government. Where's this money coming from? That's my question. Where's this money coming from? More importantly, at some point, all this has to be paid back. So every way you look at it, there is negativity. And I hate talking about negativity stuff, but unfortunately, it's being a realist about what's going on in the economy right now. Property prices are falling. Debt, when we say debt, government debt is increasing because let's face it, this money has to come from somewhere. And as a result of that, when we get out the back end, how are they going to recoup that money? That means that there's got to be a hike in interest rates. So even if we do get out on the back end of it, we're going to be paying for it on the back end of it. So here's some of my thoughts. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts. These are the things that I'm thinking, or these are the things that I'm reading and I'm hearing about, and also I'm experiencing as well. Yes, we've touch wood, we put our staff on furlough, but we've actually brought them back into our business, so we've not let anyone go. But we're probably a minority. I know lots of companies that when they open back up, where they're going to figure they're going to struggle to get started, or they're going to see whether there's going to be still a demand for their business or their service, and as a result, whether the staff levels are still going to be required. And more importantly, this time has allowed a lot of businesses to streamline. Lots more companies have started to work from home. Lots of businesses lots of buildings are going to become vacant. That means that lots of landlords are going to have vacant properties. Retail has been on the incline on online shopping. What's going to happen to the high street? These are all things that you've got to take into consideration. If all those shops on the high street close, what's going to happen to all those employees? So lots going on in the UK economy right now. But you can also guarantee that this is not just only happening in the UK. The UK has been very supportive by giving us the grants and the loans and everything to try and keep us surviving. However, you can imagine that lots of other companies around the world are feeling the same strain, but they may not be getting the same level of support that our government in the UK have provided us with. So that's just some food for thought. Hopefully you've enjoyed the session. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. As always, please feel free to connect with me on social media. So you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. As well as that, have you downloaded the Property Investor app? So I'm the owner of the UK's first property investment platform, a marketplace called Property Investor. Why don't you go to the App Store? So if you've got a Apple phone or if you've got an Android, why don't you go to the App Store and type in Property Investor, and you'll see our app there. It's got hundreds of property investment deals, and if you are looking for a deal, we get stuff ranging from 10% discounts right up to 50% discounts. We get rent to rents, we get lease options, just to name a few. As well as that, have you downloaded the Property Rebel podcast? So I release a podcast every Tuesday. It's called The Property Rebel, and you can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Spotify, as well as Stitcher, Google Podcasts. As well as that, feel free to visit www.arshellahi.com, and I wish you every success. Hopefully you stay safe, and I look forward to speaking to you all very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.